One of the most common questions I am asked after a DiSC workshop has been implemented in the workplace is, what now? How do we keep this alive? What ideas do you have to make sure this gets implemented across our culture and not just a one and done workshop? I'm Erin Lydy with Risen Path Consulting, certified in DiSC, and implement DiSC in different workplaces, cultures, organizations, companies across the country. And DiSC is a very popular tool, and I'm going to show you and teach you some ways where you can keep it alive in the workplace, whether you are in a physical location, if you're remote work, if you are scattered all over the place, if you're hybrid. Whatever the case may be, you can implement DiSC and keep it alive. When clients agree to work with me and when I agree to bring clients on board, there is always an expectation that the work will happen after the workshop. I cannot fix culture. I cannot fix anything in 4 hours. A 4 or 8 hour workshop is just not going to be effective. So I ask that the leadership team commit to keeping it alive and implementing it across the culture. And I have several different ways to do that. Some are very tangible and very physical things that you can do, and some are just going to happen through time and behavior and leadership demonstrating the behavior they would like to see and using the language of DiSC throughout the culture and in meetings and all of that. A few things that are more on the physical side that you can implement right away would be just to put the signs up. Put the signs up in your workplace. You can get access to this simple handout, and I want to draw attention to the 4 circles. And if you're trying to identify what somebody's style is, this is a great way to get started. You look at the circles, you look at the top circle and the bottom circle first, and you ask yourself, would you consider this person you're trying to identify the style, would you consider them to be more active, fast-paced, assertive, dynamic, and bold, or thoughtful, calm, methodical, moderate pace, and careful? So you pick one of those 2, and then you pick one of these 2 on the left or right. So are they questioning, logic-focused, objective, skeptical, and challenging, or accepting, people-focused, empathizing, receptive, and agreeable? So you're going to pick one of these 2, and then one of these 2, and then you put it together. So if you picked this circle and this circle, their style is most likely a D. And it tells you some of their priorities, what they're motivated by, some of their fears, what you'll notice, and what the limitations are. And then if you picked this circle and this circle, they're an I. And then this circle and this circle would be S. And this circle would be C. So this is a very quick way to identify somebody else's style. What do you know about them? Do you consider them to be more active or more thoughtful and calm? And then do you consider them to be more questioning and objective and skeptical, or accepting, empathizing, and receptive? And then you just put the little puzzle pieces together. So that's a really quick tool. And then you can also have a poster in your organization. Maybe you have an area where everybody gathers for break or lunch or whatever the case may be, or a break room or employee lounge. You can have this hanging up also. So you can have the 2 of them hanging next to each other, and you can have a little fun little game with it. And then when people identify what their style is, you can have little stickers, and then just ask them to put the sticker of what their style is. And then they get to know their team members, and they understand what their other team members might be motivated by, what their limitations are, and what their style is, and then how to communicate with them most effectively. So those are two ways that you can do it and have the visual aid and then have the conversation around that. Another option that you can make available to your team members is the interaction guide provided by Wiley, and you can purchase these through me. And it's a quick guide, a quick decoder, and it gives you the tricks, the questions to ask, and then putting it all together. And this can fold up nicely and go in a pocket or go in a wallet or go in a purse or a notebook if somebody's walking around to meetings. And then it gives you your decoder for your DI S&C styles. So this is also a handy tool that is physical, and it's a quick guide. If you're about to go to a meeting with someone, it's really nice to be able to say, okay, let me figure out what this person's style is and how I could approach them better, and maybe what some of the language I should use based on their style, or maybe even the pace of my talk and my tone and all that. Sometimes slower paced styles prefer a slower paced speaker. So really good tips to learn and just to have this handy as your decoder before you go to any meetings, to make it a lot more effective and to help build that relationship. So those are a few of the quick tangible things that you can do to start implementing that. If people have email accounts and they have signature lines with obviously the company name and their phone number, email, and all that, some companies are putting people's pronouns in emails and all that. Go ahead and add the style. If they've already done their DiSC assessment, they know what their style is, you can have them add that to their signature in their email, and then people will understand what their style is because it's right there and that you don't have to guess. And if you see, oh, somebody's a DI, you know how to approach them a little bit better than you did before. If you see somebody is an S, you might know how to approach them a little bit better also. So little things that you can do to improve making sure you are implementing it in the workplace. Now, those are kind of the quick, tangible things. And the other things that have to happen, leadership needs to demonstrate the behavior they want to see in their employees. So hopefully leadership has gone through DiSC. There's your standard DiSC workplace profile, but then there's also your management profile where it helps you understand how to lead and manage the people on your team based on their styles. Motivating an S style is different than a D style, and this gives you your decoder to do that. So the behavior is going to be seen through leadership and bringing that to the table and having that be a part of your KPIs, your key performance indicators. Like, what is the language you can apply of DiSC into those KPIs? How can you truly measure a transformed culture or a culture around the DiSC language? It happens because it's going to show through behavior. This shows up during one-on-one meetings, team meetings. You are sharing examples of how you have implemented what you've learned. You have shared examples of, I used to approach this person this way, and now I approach this person this way, and I have a much better relationship with that person. So those real life stories and those real life examples is how you're going to make sure you have that ripple effect in your culture and on your team. So it's the one-on-one meetings, the team meetings, the expectations, putting it in the goals, just truly making it part of your own personal daily life and culture, and then watching it just have that ripple effect and just bringing it to life, truly bringing it to life and just having the conversation, the innocent conversation. Hey, so did you know my style is a D? Why don't you tell me what your style is? And hey, how can we work better together now that we have that information? And you're just really bringing that to life. And that's the more organic approach. So it's blending the physical things that you can do as well as the more organic things that you can do. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, if you'd like to have access to these interaction guides, shoot me a message, drop a comment, and I'll make sure to get those to you. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you're doing to implement DiSC in your workplace to make sure that it is part of your culture and part of your foundation. We'll see you next time.